We're taking a look
and see how we do
at the Trijicon TR23. We've got it mounted here on the Bergara HMR Pro in 308. We also have a complete review of this rifle down below in the description. If you want to go see more about this rifle, click on that. Everything about this scope, including unboxing, mounting, shooting. The video is kind of long, so there are jump tos down below you can use to look at all the different parts of getting this scope, mounting the scope, and shooting the scope. You can find links to all of these different components in the description. We are in the one little pocket where there's not wind. Everything is completely blown out, so I apologize for the lighting. Really excited about this optic, which is really exciting in general because I have not been excited about an optic like this in quite a while. Of course, it's Trijicon. That's not a big shocker there. Trijicon has a special place in my heart. So does AimPoint. We've gotten a chance before doing this review to really put this optic to the test. We have been on 3 successful hunts with this, with 3 different shooters. We have really put this thing through the ringer. We've done box testing on the turrets. We have run it at every magnification. We have run it from 50 to 500 yards. We've worn out the diopter. We've worn out the illumination adjustment. We have just done everything there is to do, and this thing is awesome. It's one of the few scopes, bear with me, it's one of the few scopes that I'm not going to sell ever. I'll get a little more into that. I've owned many optics over the years. In the case of my ACOGs, for example, or my Schmidt Benders, or my Night Forces, I had multiples of all of those, and I got to a place where I went into strictly deer hunting. Those are 100 to 200 yard shots that you can do with iron sights if you know how to shoot. Those optics at that time in my life were not worth the cost anymore. So I sold most of my stuff over the course of 3 to 4 years. Not everything. I did hold on to some stuff. So over time, naturally, I started thinking, well, what could I do with the money put into these optics? I could invest the money in almost anything else and probably get more value. This value is hard to beat. This will never get sold. This was $1,060, I believe, on Amazon. There's a link below if you want to go purchase this. This is a $2,000 to $3,000 scope, in my opinion. This feels at least as good, or not, if not better, than all of the ACOGs I owned, and those were anywhere from $1,400 to $2,200. This is a high value scope for a very low price. Versatility matters to me. This is a 5 to 20. This thing will reach out. Right now it's on a 20 MOA rail, a Sequence Precision 20 MOA rail. But I know that I can put this on just about anything I buy. I can crank the magnification down to 5x, and you've got one of the best green dot illuminated 5x scopes on the market. I know I'll never sell it because I can use it for anything. It has been opened. It is no longer new. And here we are. With this higher end stuff, the little details matter. I wish I wasn't seeing this through a camera for the first time, but. So we've got instruction manual, lens, well no, oh, I got the bungee lens cover. You know, you get what you pay for. You really do every time. I wasn't sure it was gonna come with that. And this is really awesome. As usual, we have the sunshade. There's something here. Oh, you got a little Allen wrench. Here it is. This is the strip it uses for illumination. So I guess it came with the lens cover and the neoprene cover. There's the tritium reminder. Because this is actually, I believe this is radioactive technically. The reticle using this. Great printing. Just fantastic. We've got our instruction manual. Oh yeah, 2 stickers, are you kidding me? Get out of here with that, 2 stickers. Oh yeah, lens pen. Oh, it really is good to be back. I forgot about Trijicon's lens pens. Higher quality across the board than the cheaper stuff, obviously. I just want to make sure that we call this out. It seems like a minor detail. Even the foam. It's just nicer foam. It's delicious. It's just perfect. That's what I've missed. It's perfect. Even the instruction manual, it has a spine. It's like a leather-bound novel from the 4th century. There it is. Let's put it on that. What we're going to use as the rail is this. It's a Seekins Precision Remington 700 short action 20 MOA with number 8 screws. Number 8 screws, that's referring to the screw size here. This rifle in particular takes number 8 screws. They allow you to use higher torque settings when putting this on. Not all Bergara rifles use number 8 screws. So because it's a short action, it has a very specific length as well. I had this other one sitting around. This is basically the same rail, but a long action. This is for another project we're working on. And just to show you the difference, long action, short action. It's a little over an inch difference. We're using Vortex Tactical high rings, 30 millimeter. And we're using this. If you're mounting optics, you gotta have this. You gotta have it. The fat wrench, Wheeler fat wrench. If you're getting into guns, if you're already into guns, whatever, just get this thing. It's like 50 bucks at Amazon and you can do everything with it. So we're doing this to 25 inch-pounds as per the Bergara manual. Yeah. This is what I love about Vortex. Vortex knows that I'm dumb and I don't want to do research. This is fantastic. So, Bates clamp hex nuts. There it is, torque right there. What about the rings? Oh, they got me. They know that I need this. These are pretty sturdy. I like them so far. And the reason I got these rings, we've got a huge base, which is secured by one nut, which I love. And these rings are thick and they've got 6 screws each. Love that, very secure. And something else I like about these is they have the lock washers already in there. So we're not going to use any nail polish or Loctite on the base screws, but we are going to put clear nail polish on the rings. You can make fun of me if you want, but I'm doing it anyway. It works. And this fat wrench comes with this socket bit here. So not a problem getting a hex onto the Wheeler fat wrench. When you're mounting scope rings, push them forward when you're screwing them in. You want to make sure they're as far forward in this little groove as they can go. 45 inch-pounds. There it is. And get a level. This is obviously not the most ideal level. Get on my level, but it will work. And it is very important because the crosshair can look correct for one shooter, and then it takes another shooter to realize that it's off. And there is just enough flat space up here to correctly use this level. You know, this seems nitpicky, but it's not. Make sure that if you look at that, for example, it's not quite level. Some people would call that level, but it's not level. Make sure that bubble is directly in the middle, or whatever your indicator is. Over time, I will notice that in the reticle. All 12 of these top screws have nail polish in them, and they're supposed to be screwed to 15 to 18 inch-pounds. So we're gonna do right there, about 17. That about does it. A few more checks. Yeah, that's just a win. That's just fantastic. So let's get into it here. This is a 50 millimeter objective lens, and it has 5 to 20 magnification. Right off the bat, this magnification ring, this adjustment ring, is unbelievably smooth. Has a nice big visible dial to show you exactly what magnification you're on. And it can also be locked, which is nice. The turrets are completely exposed turrets. Take the Allen wrench that you will see in the unboxing, and you can unscrew this little bolt here and you can set your 0. This optic does have an adjustable parallax knob on the left side. So some optics will have an adjustable objective lens, some will have the parallax knob. I like the parallax knob for a few reasons. Again, as a hunter, having to dynamically change this is pretty common, and I like not having to reach up to the front. As with all the other settings here, this thing is butter smooth. 40 yards is the minimum. It goes all the way up to infinity. And the diopter. Everything on this scope is top of its class, but I will say this one thing. I had trouble with the diopter the first few times I shot this. I don't know if it's because of precision or what, but it took me a while. So if you're not familiar with parallax versus diopter, when you set the diopter, basically this is setting your personal prescription for the scope. If you happen to set the diopter while the parallax is out of focus, you're going to have parallax in your rifle. And no matter what you do here, if this was set wrong, when this was set wrong, you're not going to get correct parallax. It's not going to be parallax free. I had problems with the diopter when I first used this because the adjustments are so fine when you turn it. The difference in image clarity is so minute that it took me a second to get the diopter set correctly. Now that I know how to do it, obviously I'm not worried about it, or I wouldn't just be throwing it around. Getting this thing back to perfect for my eye is not going to be a problem. But if you are buying this optic, keep that in mind. This thing is very very sensitive. And obviously with diopter comes eye relief. The scope has a little bit better than average eye relief, but I would like more. That's the one place that I'm a little, when I say a little, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a 2. I'm at like maybe a 2 critical of the eye relief out of this optic. I do wear prescription lenses when I'm shooting, so that's going to complicate the situation. It might just be me that's having these problems. And last but not least, this is where the magic happens. This is where you adjust your illumination. So Trijicon, if you're not familiar with it, they are known for their battery-free illuminated reticles, which this has. It uses a combination of fiber optics and tritium. This right here is how you adjust how bright. Oh, that adjustment knob is so smooth. This is where you adjust how bright your reticle is. So you can turn it both ways. So if the sun's on your right or the sun's on your left, you can adjust this away from the source of light and adjust your reticle brightness with this. This is why I bought the optic. I was not let down. It is phenomenal. The reticle is just amazing. So let's get into that right now. So this is a 5-gallon water bottle at 100 yards. And that water bottle is sitting in full direct sunlight. The weather changed on us quite a bit here. And if you'll notice, even against that fully lit object at 100 yards, that reticle is still so clear. Now, it is worth saying here, this is a mil-dot reticle. The turrets are MOA, so it is not a one-to-one adjustment from turrets to reticle. I'm going to move this over into the darkness so you can see the lighting on that reticle there. I mean, the lighting's fantastic. And it's worth noting we're sitting in the shade, so we're not receiving full sunlight right now, and we've still got a very well lit reticle on this thing. And something else to keep in mind here, this is a second focal plane scope, so I'm going to try to keep this in frame. When you change the magnification, it's not going to change the size of the crosshairs. It's also not going to change the point of impact. Now, this really comes down to personal taste, but my personal preference is a second focal plane crosshair that does not change. This is just what I like. I don't like the reticle changing size, and in some cases that can affect your accuracy, and I don't want that. I want the reticle to stay the same no matter what range and magnification I'm at. So that's 20. That's a 20 time magnification. And I'm going to zoom out to a 5. And now we have switched to a 400-yard target. That bush, right now I'm just gently pushing down on my side of the table so that the rifle and the camera move together. That right there behind the crosshairs, that is a 5-gallon water bottle in a sawgrass bush at 400 yards. That's definitely an ethical shot. Sitting on our, we don't have any direct light on our light receptor, and that's a 400-yard shot at a 5-gallon water bottle. This thing is just, it's incredible. You can still very clearly see the crosshair in the shade at 400 yards. I'm going to zoom out all the way to 5x. So that's a 5-time magnification. And when you go to 20, it really opens things up. Really reaches out there. Yeah, I mean, great reticle, great optic. Trijicon really does just have incredible glass. We have sort of run into the beginning of part 2 of the rifle video here. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it. This thing's fantastic, so great. If you're thinking about buying it, you won't regret it. I'm gonna start being quiet. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.